Hello. What is going on? Uh, Glad to be back streaming. Last week I had to skip one because I busted my ankle playing basketball the night before. But now that that's all set, I can sit at my desk comfortably and show off some We Are The Caretakers. Bunch of stuff has been going on over the last 2 weeks. The team has been doing a lot of work on a Era 1 demo, which is sort of like our big beats within the campaign. We've been working on the save game system. We've been working on the level editing system. So we've got a whole bunch of tools and systems in place to hopefully get us going this week and the next on really building out the content. So yeah, excited to kind of play through the game a little bit, and then work through our existing bug list or anything we find while we play test. A bunch of folks have been asking to see a little bit more of like the full game, because the last couple streams I've been working on combat, which is fun, but it's kind of nice to see how everything fits together. So why don't we jump in, do that. Actually, before I do that, I need to post to Discord. That's probably a good idea, huh? All right. I've attempted to tell the internet that I'm streaming. We'll see. But yeah, why don't we jump in? I'm gonna turn off the background music for a sec. Game audio. The start of our game music is in for our official OST, but the transitions aren't very good, so you might hear some like not so nice fades between music as we transition between scenes and that type of thing. So that in mind, go. Is that too loud? Try to turn that down a little. All right, let me know if that's blowing your ears out, but I think it should be good. Bigger. Decides to wake up. So the game sort of structured like I hesitate to say XCOM, but it has a headquarters like XCOM, where you'll select missions, be able to edit your teams, or do some diplomacy / get some new recruits. And I'll save this as a spoiler, but there's sort of a shop you can visit as you progress in the campaign. So let's just see here. So I'm going to set up a really basic unit with my sort of leader of the caretakers here, the conductor. We'll put some rangers front. And yeah, shout if you guys have questions. Obviously I want feedback, but also it helps to get some chat going for Twitch affiliate status, which is like a weird thing that I need to get more exposure. I don't know. I'm learning about the streamer thing, so yeah, don't be afraid to shout. I'm gonna put healer in here as well, and I will fill out our other units here with some more. All right, that should be good. These things are sort of work in progress, but there'll be these different rooms that we can transition between. Sarah did a good job getting the first pass of these rooms in. Yeah, let's just jump into like our first mission here. This is still our old demo dialogue. We've got a whole bunch of scripts written for a lot of our first missions, including the sort of intro prologue. So this is sort of older dialogue, but it kind of sets the stage that we're looking for some poachers who are infiltrating, and we're kind of getting used to this Shadron environment. You'll see there'll be other sort of settlements out and about. And we can go there to get information about where the poachers might be. So we've got the UI in place. One of the other things we've been working on recently is sort of timed scouting. When you get to the edge of a border here, it's going to take a little bit of time to scout this territory. I'm going to deploy my second unit. Which I'll go for here. Obviously they're moving kind of slow, but we can hit this speed boost ability, which uses a little bit more stamina as the characters are walking. That's one of the newer things that Steven has put in, is the ability for the character stamina to deteriorate as they scout, to kind of be efficient where you send your troops. Whoops. One of those transitions with the audio I'm talking about. Honored to welcome you into our homes. Ooh. All right, so now that we've kind of secured this area, they'll give us some daily tribute, which will help us kind of keep deploying characters. It looks like we had a poacher spawn while I wasn't paying attention here. We've discovered this territory, so now we can actually see where they're going to keep coming in, so we can kind of focus our groups down this way. Actually, oh, there we go. So now they're the creatures we're trying to protect, if you haven't seen the game before, called the Ron, and this poacher made it here without me seeing. So now there's a little bit of a timer that's about to start. that I can get there in time and intervene. I'm actually going to try to get my main group over here. Oop, I'm going to skip through this part. I'm not supposed to see this. We're working on the prologue. Alright, so we're going to bring our main group here to try to intervene and stop this poacher. This is one of our objectives, to defeat the poacher boss, among other things that we could be doing. Alright. So the UI has been updated. We've got the new threat system here, which still needs a little bit of labeling. And we've got a main objective, because this is the boss character right here. So this character has an ability that will hit all of us, so we have to try to disarm them pretty quickly. Actually, it looks like this character does as well, so we might get our butts kicked here, but we'll see. Alright, so I've got the first pass at like a little bit more balance with the characters. We'll see. It looks like one thing I didn't take into account is that my characters are tired coming in, so their stamina is already low before we got here. Thankfully, I have a healer that can help us out, but it's going to come a little bit later, so I need to make use of them and try to wear down this character pretty quickly. So I'm going to be pretty offensive. We don't have sound effects and things in yet, so that's why it might sound a little dull. I'm actually going to heal, have him heal himself. The rangers are kind of self-sufficient, so they can heal themselves. This guy seems okay, so I'm just going to try to put it on this guy. We'll intimidate this character, which is sort of a non-violent way to wear them down. It is going to increase our threat level, which increases the chance for critical hits and other things like that. But it did apply a trait to this character. So if I actually go inspect them, actually I'll do that next here. So you can pause at any time and go to this like mid-round break. So now I can go inspect this character and see what they have. So it's got a weak-minded trait and slow, which some of my abilities put on. So now they're going to act last in the encounters, the order, and then they have a hit to their resolve, which is sort of like a resistance to my abilities. So hopefully we'll be able to start doing a little more damage to them subsequent hits. So those of you who watched the stream last week saw that I've been adding custom animations in, but we don't quite have the loop yet where they actually like run up to them and do like abilities when they're close up. So again, work in progress. Guard. This guy's gonna protect our front row characters. All right, I could flee at this point if I wanted to, but I'm gonna keep going. Miss, that's good. So this is our leader character at the moment, and he's got a more powerful ability, so I'm going to use that here. No VFX, there'll be shiny effects here coming too. Alright, I'll stop chatting and try to make this move. Alright, that was pretty good. So that resolve hit that he's got on him, that trait, is helping because we're doing a little more stamina damage to him here. I'm going to keep playing that on. I think that ability will stack. Okay, so that's increasing our threat, so we might have a higher chance of getting a critical hit here. I'm going to pause just to see actually if this is stacking. It may, but our tooltip isn't showing it, so Hopefully his resolve's going down even further. I'm gonna heal. Sure, we're doing okay here with their first aids that we did in the first round. Alright, he's getting close. 17. Oh, man. Okay, so our goal right now is to get this character down to critical and then use a finishing move. So one of our characters has actually gone critical. And they are now vulnerable to being finished. So that is not good. And we don't have a lot of characters to heal this character. If I wasn't trying to do a demo here, I'd probably, you know, flee or try to find another plan. But I'm just going to keep going just to show you the way to end the poacher here. Yeah, I think that's a good suggestion about the camera. The cameras, like we have the system in place that just to do like these up close shots like you see here. I think it looks nice and cinematic and polished, but we'll definitely have a lot more interesting camera shots as well as ones that are more appropriate for each ability so that it won't be as jarring. But yeah, I think, oh, I see what you're saying, also in these close-up shots. Yeah, some of the taller characters, the angle of the camera cuts off their heads, so yeah, we definitely need to fix that. Alright, so he's down to 4, we're almost there. This boss is currently set up to be pretty resistant, so that's why it took a little bit longer than usual. Okay, so now he's critical, so we can try to detain, or use a different finishing move from a different character. I'll just go with detain, and this means that they'll come back to our headquarters after, and we can, you know, try to get information out of them, release them, figure out what we're gonna do with them. It's harder to recruit the bosses, but you can also recruit them into your group later on. Okay, so he was successful there, so we finished the boss and we got that objective. Since we've kicked the threat level up quite a bit, I'm gonna start trying to calm, but not gonna have a huge difference here in this demo, but I think actually I'm gonna see if this actually works. I should be able to flee, and the objective will be, we got XP for all our moves there, and then yeah, again, that's a hard audio transition there we're gonna work out. Okay, cool. So you can see here we defeated the poacher boss as one of our objectives for this mission, and we let that other character go. I'm actually curious to see if the AI is going to actually let him move or not with their leader down. I think he's gonna just idle. That's a bug. That's why we play test though, right? So what would usually happen is that this character would either try to flee the map entirely from like an exit point, or continue doing its thing, and then we'd have to deal with them again. But let's see if we can do any of these other objectives here before we go to development. One of the things, little quality of life things we've been working on is just the ability to select any character with drag select. You can now select and get information about anything that's interactive on the map. So like here, you can select this loot and it'll give you some description and a portrait. We haven't actually implemented that, but it just gives you a lot more information about what's going on. Oh, interesting. So the end of the mission came. I wonder why that triggered that encounter. Maybe they spawned right on top of us or something. That was an odd bug. All right. Well, I won't mess with poachers for right now. Sorry, Gaston. I don't mean to leave you hanging. But this is kind of what the for those of you that were wondering last time, this is kind of the structure of the game, is that you have a series of missions, you go out into the field, you're trying to protect these Ron from poachers, you're trying to get information and scout the field to kind of set you up to find them before they get to the animals. And then you're just trying to do some diplomatic things and doing things sort of the right way to manage your reputation, because your reputation will affect how aggressive the poachers are next time, how supportive the communities are, etc. So yeah, so I think the feature set is coming together. It's a little more complete. We've been working out some of like the little issues with combat, but obviously there's still quite a bit of polish and things to be done. So yeah, stop that demo there. And now I've got a whole list of stuff to fix, so I'm just going to kind of put the music back on and start working on that. Let me know if you have any thoughts on that demo or how we did anything. It's always scary to show stuff that's work in progress because we definitely still have quite a bit to go. But you know, it's been quite a bit of work up to that point, and you know, dealing with kind of 3 different gameplay sort of scenarios of the HQ and the field and combat, you know, just takes time, and we're kind of slowly poking at the edges of each one to kind of get it where we want it to be. Before I jump into other stuff, this was just to show you guys the stuff I ended the last stream with. All the characters share an animation controller, and now I've added like more detailed kneeling and getting up. I've added states for getting stunned, for dodging miss, you know, when attacks miss. You can now walk and run, although I actually haven't implemented that on the field. But the hope is once we boost them running, they'll actually have a different run animation, so it doesn't look like they're walking. Is that power walking to try to protect animals? Yeah, I'm gonna look at my list here, see if there's some quick stuff I could get done. I know one thing I wanted to do in the HQ, just some touch-up stuff. A really minor thing is some icons are showing. Some icons have tooltips and are showing when they shouldn't be. So as you go along, you'll actually unlock these additional slots. You can have up to 9 groups out on the field, which will be helpful for bigger maps and that type of thing. But this little icon shouldn't be showing, so hopefully I can just hide that really quick. The tall guy close up was showing just his torso. Yes, yes. He Yeah, we will adjust the camera. Thanks for your concern. Siri just talked back to me. That's lovely. I love the open mics in your house. Has anybody checked out Apple Arcade? Any of the games that are on there? I've been playing a whole bunch. Looks like go to Canvas. Visual thing, okay. I already got a canvas, so I just need to make a little variable and that. Basically, take one. Referenced anywhere else. So for here, a little new variable. Here's Unity's working. Whatever. All right. So now our little class or component that's managing the showing and hiding of our units in the UI now has a reference to the set canvas. Play the game. Hopefully, thing will be hidden on the ones that should be hidden. But yeah, if you haven't checked out Apple Arcade, I think you guys should. There's a ton of good games on there. There's Overland, is by another Michigan indie dev. I really liked Sayonara. I think it's Sayonara Wild Hearts. I'm sorry, I don't know the name of it. Look for Sayonara. That one has a lot of style. I really like Bleak Sword. I'm not sure if anybody's seen this Bleak Sword game. That's my feature here, then I'll go geek out about Bleak Sword. All right, cool. No icon. So just the little things like that have been lingering, that we've been so focused on, like bigger systems, that we haven't gone through and gotten a chance to tweak. One thing I want to do too is these bars update in the field, like the little ones here. But when you have this screen up and the game's still running in the background, this bar doesn't update. So it's a little thing, but I'll fix that pretty quick. But yeah, let me show you Bleak Sword real quick. so hard, but it's just got so much polish and it's fun. Yeah, that's my jam. A really simple combat game, a lot of style. Check it out. Hey, how's it going, D Townsend? Is charisma the best name for that stat, or would persuasion or diplomacy fit? Well, yeah, that's a good question. I think it works because it's not necessarily just about like, you know, attacks that are being done to the opponent. It's also like how much like hold you have on the people in your unit. So like if you're a leader character and you have high charisma, we want to actually have the characters in your group perform better or worse based upon that. And so we want it to kind of just be your general sort of like ability to lead or talk or whatever. So that's kind of why we picked it more of like a catch-all. So if we went with like persuasion, it could kind of work, but we don't necessarily want you to be like using persuasion tactics on your own team. It's but yeah, if you have any other suggestions for names for that stat, that'd be cool. Yeah, like influence, or we were also looking at like trust, but that didn't work as well in like the context with the opponents. But I don't know. Let's see, Google's version of Apple Arcade. Yeah, I'm really curious to check that out as well. It sounds like it's a slightly different model. It has free-to-play games in there. It has less exclusives. It's just about the yeah, it lets you have like games that have already been released and that type of thing. But yeah, I haven't had a chance to reach out to them, but we'll see if it's a fit for any of like Hero Generations, or I don't know, maybe We Are The Caretakers. I don't know. We haven't really thought about anything beyond PC right now. Yeah, yeah, an influencer class, and they like stream on the side. All right, I should probably do some work here, huh? I wanted to check that bar on the character view screen. When you select a prefab in Unity, kind of goes to its own scene that isolates that prefab. What I need to see is, one, what is the function that updates this thing? And then I need it to actually call while it's up. I think right now we only refresh it when we first load it up. Also, I hate to be that guy, but if you guys can follow the channel or join our Discord, that'd be great. Helps us out. We're trying to build this to be a meaningful channel for us to talk about the game, and we want to do more streams. We want to make sure we reach as many people as possible. So yeah, that's my one plug for the stream. All right, so we do have a refresh all here, so I'm just going to see where else this is built. Okay, so yeah, so it looks like the situation I care about here is with the character slot handler, which is like those little UIs. We refresh once, then we open it. So the question is, have like a refresh timer sort of thing going on? Maybe we do. All right. So I know we refreshed those slots somewhere, so I'm going to look at character slot. refresh this. Drop. There's just update, but the question is where? Where is it being? Probably in unit info, that would make sense. Okay, finally found it. So update is sort of the function that just calls every single frame of your game, and will just run constantly. And so what I've got set up here is instead of doing it every single frame, which would slow it down, we just kind of periodically on a timer refresh the slot to be updated. We need to have something similar like this when we're in the field. Update this to update the character view screen instead of just. So it looks like the unit view is doing this. Maybe we can just do similar in character info. Let's just try that. Let's just add an update call. I think this is a template. These might be specific to the other screen. So instead of, you know, whatever the target object was that UI looks at, because we kind of separate the what the object or the data is from how it's displayed. And so there's a different sort of data thing that is passed to this character info versus that UI, or the unit info here, which manages multiple characters. So basically it's the same type of a call, just using different data to refresh it. All right, so does not equal an encounter. I think we would still want it to even be for an encounter. So I'm obviously not going to leave these comments in here, but I'm just kind of saving them for myself as I go through to make sure I'm not missing something that is relevant to this character view. So let's just try that. Let's just see if it actually updates and doesn't error on us. Right, compiled, let's play. For some reason I always pick the most like less exciting activity to actually fix on the stream, so I apologize, but kind of all part of the gig, right? For it to be fun, people actually have to be able to see the data in order to make strategic decisions. So in some ways we're helping the fun factor indirectly. As I can tell on my console, I don't have any, actually, no errors, at least not breaking anything, which is good. Let me just leave this up for a little bit. So in the HQ, it shouldn't be working. It shouldn't be doing anything. Because I put those checks to make sure it only happened kind of when the game manager is active, which is only when the field's up. No errors so far. Miracle. All right. So let me make this bigger. Down here, hopefully. So right now we're actually in the town. This is kind of an interesting thing about the game. So when you're in a territory in a settlement that you have secured, it will heal you. So this is a way to kind of come back, and so that's why the stamina isn't going down at all. But if I start moving over here, you'll hopefully be able to see that the stamina starts to drain a little. I'll actually just speed up the game so see if we can get that going. Yeah, so you can start to see that stamina going down for all the characters. So now, if I put this here, this should, okay. I see what's going on. So let's keep these guys moving. Then if I go here, there we go. Cool. It updated. So the problem is that you don't lose stamina when your units are just sitting idle. That's why we weren't seeing any change. But if I keep them moving before I go, should be refreshing. Great. And then the only thing we have to check, there's nothing erroring, but yeah, we're clean. One shot. Got? Is that a thing? One take, Jake. All right, what else can we fix here? I've got about 10-15 minutes before I want to kind of wrap up. Let's go to, so we use Trello in the team to kind of manage stuff, and after our latest playtest, I made a huge list of all the little things that I wanted to fix. I'm just gonna go hit that up. All right, so I need to show the reputation and the encounters. I need to, I want to expose that will, or that, not will, I guess I was calling it resolve. We've had different names for it during development, but will or resolve is sort of that stat we were breaking down on the poacher boss earlier that lowers their resistance. And I think that should be like front and center on the sort of stat slot for each character, so that it's kind of obvious that you're taking that down, and you can see how resistant they are to sort of maybe decide, okay, I'm going to start using Intimidate or some of these other abilities to get the will down first. I wouldn't necessarily say that's the highest priority thing right now, but looking for something to do here. Why don't we try to do that? Let's get that going. So, character slot. I'll kind of show you what the slot looks like now, and then we can try to find a spot to put it. I'm actually gonna move this up here. All right, so this is the prefab for a character slot. Just has like default stuff. It's a little squashed here because it gets dynamically resized in the UI itself. But we have two options. I could put like another bar here for Will. We had that in the past, and when people play tested, it was like either overwhelming or people just didn't know what it did. So I'm thinking because it behaves slightly differently than stamina and has slightly less importance than stamina, I want to change how the UI looks to not be like exactly like it. So the thing I've been playing with is having like a little brain icon or some sort of separate icon that has a different sort of bar feel to it. So either we could make it be a vertical bar or maybe a circular bar, just to show that it's like two separate stats that are important in their own ways. So I'm gonna start with that idea and see how it goes. It'll be easy enough just to come in here and put a second bar in, but I want to try this separate way before I concede and go with that. So two parts to this task. I'm gonna have to update the UI itself to just like have the image, make it a bar, and then in code actually refresh that bar to with the stat. Actually, I think what I can do, like I said, we used to have a second slider here, and I moved it around so it's in a weird spot. Right now the name actually goes in this spot. But the other issue with this design, just quickly, is it just made everything really small, so there was less room for text. It made each bar smaller to see from afar, and they're already kind of small on the screen. So that's kind of what I'm trying to solve for here. So I'm going to take this same slider though, because this is still what I want. It's ultimately going to be a bar in terms of like how it's going to function, but it's just going to look a little different. So I'm going to resize where it is. Here, I'm just going to actually get it set up, then I'll position it later. So I'm going from here to here. Really, again, when you're in prefab mode, it tries to autosave. So while I'm making a whole bunch of changes, I'm going to take autosave off. Otherwise, it'll take forever. Over the portrait. 0.5, 0.3. You may not be able to see this, but these little white arrows here are showing the new bounds of it. And I use these anchors because it lets it stretch. It's rather than saying here like where's an exact position and its exact size. If I change the screen resolution or anything like that, then it would just stay the same size and stay really small on the screen if we upscaled it or remain really big. So this is just Unity's kind of way to set things up to be relative. So put it over here, let's say like 2.5. Then you just have to that. Now our bar is going to be over here just so we can see it. And then got its bar script on here. I want to change the image though from just a bar to something else. So one tip, Unity's basic slider here has some nice things that let you get different types of bars built in without having to do your own. You can do a left to right or bottom to top, and that's actually what I'm doing for like the XP bar here. Is I've just, rather than having to like do rotation code and figure all that out, you can just switch it to top to bottom, and now you've got kind of like a thermometer style bar here for the character's XP. What I want to do though is not just do this, but I want to do a circular bar. And there is a fairly simple way to do that. Remember? I think it's actually in the fill, maybe. I'm actually gonna save this and go out to my other one that I know I have a circle in, so I can remember how to do it. Go to the unit, call out. So we use that here, where we have a can't really see it in this view here, but there's kind of those big bubbles, right, that are above each unit that's moving on the field. And they have like that circular timer that plays when they scout and things like that. So you can see here, it's not a bar, it's a image, and then you can just say image type filled, and then radial 360. So I've picked an image here. You can see that that's like a circular bar. And I think I have 2 of those somewhere. No, just in here, I just have the one. But yeah, then if you can see here, when it's set to this fill method of radial 360, you just hit the fill amount, and you can't see it here, but I could do it. Anyways, this fill amount controls to the degree that it's fully filled, and it will cut it out in a circle. So the question is, how am I currently controlling this? That we can do that in the other one. Scalar button, portrait panel. Pretty sure in unit callout here, which is what happens when you don't touch code for like months and months. You have to refresh live on the stream. Probably not a good idea. Look for had that unit call out class, didn't I? Okay, so I think what I'm doing so I just, in this callout class, I was just missing it here. There is a field in my callout script, which is kind of like the generic class I have for any sort of icon that floats in the world. And so yeah, I just have to find that field. Timer icon, which is actually a image. Then yeah, we just have update date here. Should change the fill amount of the icon. So we need to do that same thing in our other class, which is the slot callout. We actually just want character slot. So I was wrong. So I'm actually not going to do anything. I'm going to undo. I'll just leave it how it is since it's not used. I'll just hide it again. So we don't need a slider. We just need an image. call this the will meter, I guess. Will just given a different name so I don't confuse it with being a slider like these other ones. Then now we've got our icon here. I'll just pick the icon I want for that. Have like a brain or something would be good for this. I'll just pick anything for now. Do this one for right now. We'll actually have our artist actually make a new one. Good tip for some of you guys that might still be watching is game-icons.net is handy for placeholder and final icons. Really quick. So yeah, they just have a library of these like flat icons, and then they have a little editor here that lets you resize it, change the background, recolor it if you want. Really, really handy, just to kind of get things started. And obviously we can either take these and use them in the game, or edit them slightly to fit our style, or again, just toss them out after we finally get around to making the final icons. So yeah, check that out. But now that I've got this icon here, I'm going to change it from like a basic point stretch thing talked about earlier. And that'll be fine for now. I just want to see it and get it working, then we can play with the position of it. But now that we've got this, we can change the image type from simple to filled. And then it could be, you know, we have lots of options here. Radial, but we want a radial 360. We'll fill starting from we don't want it from the bottom, fill from the top. There we go. So now, zoom in so you can see it on the stream. Fill from the top. Does so in a circle. Super handy. In the past, I've had to like write my own code to do that, and yeah, Unity just handles it for you if you know it's there. And for right now, I'll just like give it a different color. And okay, now we've got our icon filling. So what we'll do now is go into the class for this character slot and make sure that that is updated to. Public image will here. Go to our refresh function. Say here somewhere if have will meter, because you always want to make sure, like maybe I didn't set it up correctly, maybe something got disconnected, but you don't want to start editing something. Actually, I just realized for the next stream I'll fix this. The chat's overlaying the code window. Why didn't you guys tell me that? I'll fix that for the next one so the code's easier to read. Also probably have to zoom in on the text, but we got will meter. Go will meter fill amount Okay, so this is where it might get a little tricky. We'll just go. Like I said, and we've gone back and forth on the name of it, so I'm actually looking up for resolve, but the public-facing name right now that we're going with is will. We're going for our data source, get the attribute, get the value, clamp this. We want to clamp the meter. I want it to be relative to. Basically, we just don't want to go beyond 1. I believe it when you go beyond 1, it will like wrap around, so it'll look like it's 0. For now, we'll just FF. All right, so that all goes well. That should change this fill amount value to match the will number. And then if we go into the game, we should see this thing cut maybe like roughly in half, because most of the characters have about 50 or 0.5 will. I'll save back on, save that, and let's see. Yeah, sorry about that. I'll next time before I start, I'll up the size on the code. Do that. There we go. Yeah. All right. Lesson learned. New streamer error. But go back to the game. Scene rather. Oh, it should show up in the HQ. Okay, cool. The icon's there. Doesn't look like it's changing. There's 44 here. I'm gonna go into the game, see if it works there or not. All right, so unless I'm missing something, I think something's wrong with the value I'm passing in there, because I don't see any errors. So see what I did wrong. It's probably just the scale of the number going in here. So what we'll do, I'll just do it. I could put a debugger breakpoint here. I'll just do it the old way. And we will do see what we get out of that. console here. Could spit some stuff out here for us. Maybe I'm just calling it in the wrong spot. Oh, I know exactly what's going on. So remember when I said to do a check here, if this is null, well, that's what's happening. It's I forgot to go and connect in the editor the image on the actual object, and so it's saying it's null, so it's not even getting here. Got to go back to the slot. And we've got our wheel meter down here. It says none, so we just need to grab it, put it here. Now the script has something. Oops, you do that. But after Unity, up, should be able to run it. And hopefully that'll fix it. Okay. So one thing I'll have to do is duplicate that in this screen so you can see it. But for right now, you can kind of see that it's sort of partially cut off for most of these slots. The ones that have no character in it are full because I haven't gone in and added the code to like hide that for an empty slot. But yeah, overall it's working. The bench isn't working because we technically have like a wrapper around that, but I need to just update that version of the slot prefab as well. But yeah, it seems like it's working really quickly. Obviously I'm not going to have the icon here. I think it'll probably be next to the bar or next to the portrait, and we'll make a nice little icon for it. Yeah, I'm gonna do one quick cleanup thing and then should be done. Gonna make it less squished. I can test it. Whoops. So dummy, and I changed the X, which is not what I wanted to do. Need to turn off autosave. Y. All right, we did it. So hopefully by the next stream, we'll have this sorted out and add a little bit more to the encounter system and be able to see kind of how this is helping or not. Players start actually using those kind of will manipulating abilities. But yeah, thanks a lot for checking out the game. Please let me know in Discord what you think of the game, if you think of any other ideas or thoughts after thinking about it. But yeah, please join the Discord, go to Steam and wishlist We Are The Caretakers. And yeah, hope to see you next week for the next dev stream. Thanks.